Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Even when I was watching General Hospital, I was like, man, I can't wait to watch Days. I am loving this move to Peacock. I really am loving this move to Peacock for so many reasons. The fact that it starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I don't have to wait until 12 o'clock and then try to watch it like on here or some other platform, which to be honest, I try to look for it just to see if you know I can find it. But I can even find anything. I can even find any episodes on here, the platform I'm talking about. Somebody said that they actually found an episode, and I was like, wow, really? Because I was looking and I couldn't find it. Anyway, I am loving the fact that I don't have to wait until 8 o'clock to sit there and watch it. And I'm loving the fact that I don't have to sit there and watch it here anymore. A lot of times I would watch it here, so this way I can do my reviews and put it out early, but oh my goodness, it was so much of a. I don't want to sit there and say it was a chore because, again, I love what I do, but it's nice watching it clear screen and everything like that, and as opposed to watching it on here, which just looks like trash. So I'm loving it. I'm loving the pacing of this show. I'm loving the pacing of the show, and I feel like it's upgraded. I think it's upgraded because people are actually paying to watch it. So it's like we can't sit there and do like slow storylines anymore. Don't get me wrong, Days have always seemed like it moved at a better pace than like the other three. And I'm not just saying that every now and then it's going to be a little more, you may have an episode that won't be as fast paced as some of the others. But it just feels like they're moving at a good pace, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the fact that people are paying to watch it. So, um, anyway, I'm just loving it. I'm loving it so far, and I think it's a great move. Marlena was acting a little strange, even before she got, before she came down with whatever virus that all three of them had. But she was acting a little strange. She kept saying that everything's fine, everything's going to be fine, it's all going to work out. Um, And John was like, well, Orpheus is still out there. I don't care. I'm just gonna sit there and practically pretend that everything's okay. And I was like, as a psychiatrist, what you're basically sitting there saying is, I'm gonna ignore the problem and just wish it away. And it just seems so out of character for her. And granted, I've been watching the show that long compared to other people, but I feel like I've watched it long enough to know when certain things are just kind of out of place. Anyway, she goes to work. John takes her to work. Um, Kayla sneezes when she gets her flowers that she throws from Orpheus, and she goes to work. Roman was worried when he woke up and didn't see Kate, and when Kate gave him another birthday cake, she sneezed on it. So Roman was like, "You need to go get stuff checked out." So all three of them there, and Kate is the first person to faint. So they take her to the emergency room. They take her into the room. Kayla faints next. Caleb faints next in front of Kate. So at this point, you got two then. We already know what's going to happen to Marlena at this point. We're just waiting for when. Marlena faints after she calls Rome, and Rome was able to sit there and catch her. Meanwhile, you got Steve, and you got John sitting there trying to come up with a plan to stop Orpheus. This time they're like, we're going on the offense. We're not playing games. They talk about Zoe trying to get in contact with her, saying she is different from the rest of the family. I don't know how many siblings, how many kids Orpheus has, besides Evans. I don't know what's going on with Evans. Are we ever going to sit there and see him again? I know at some point we're going to see Jan Spears because I guess when things get born between Sean and Bella, they bring her in. So, now at this point, all three of them are coming up with symptoms, the same symptoms. Steve, John get down into the hospital, and the girls realize that this isn't a coincidence. Orpheus has something to do with it, especially his ties with Roth. So Steve is like, listen, at some point, Orpheus is going to sit there and call. He wants to sit there and display his handiwork. Orpheus calls. He starts being all cryptic, acting like the Riddler. And I guess we'll sit there and find out what his plan is tomorrow. But great pacing so far. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This was a good spin because I didn't see this coming. So in the dream, because this is obviously a dream sequence. So Nicole is in bed with Eric, and she's like, "What happened? I just went away on a business trip. Like, what, you know, what's going on?" And Eric is all like, "Oh, well, this was bound to happen sooner or later." And they start trying to kiss on each other, and Nicole's like, "Oh man, I really don't want to hurt Rafe." And Eric is all like, "Oh, well, I don't want to hurt him either," but you know, he has to find out at some point. And Rafe comes in there. And Rafe was like, "What is going on?" Like he loses it. So I'm sitting there thinking, another hot and steamy dream. Um, Another Nicole's hot and steamy dreams. Turns out, I thought it was a dream of Nicole. Turns out, it was a nightmare of Rafe. Rafe is clenching his blanket. And Nicole's like, "Yo, what is going on?" So she asks, she's like, you had a bad dream, a nightmare, what's going on? Tell me about it. So after a little bit of prodding, Rafe tells her that, "Yo, listen, I had a dream of you being in bed with Eric." And Nicole's like, "What brought that on?" And Rafe was like, "It has something to do with what Jada said about, Eric dating Jada and everything like that. And at some point, because at this point, Nicole has to sit there and say that, yeah, she probably would sit there and say something after I talked to Eric. And Rafe is like, "You never told me you went to Eric. What'd you go to Eric's for?" Now, Nicole is sitting there thinking about the dream that she had and why she really went there to sit there and tell him. But Nicole lies and says, "Oh, well, yeah, I went to sit there and offer him a job, after leaving the priesthood, after being fired from the priesthood. I wanted to give him something to kind of distract his mind and things of that nature." And so I was like, "Hey, let's offer him a job," because apparently Eric was a photographer back in the day. So, and this is something that does come back to bite her. But not Rafe, Eric wakes up with Jada. And Jada's feeling a little insecure because she's like, "Listen, we've been out twice and I've already been in bed with you." Seeing how he was a priest or whatever, you know, she sniffed it thinking that he's looking at her sideways. And he apologizes, even though, like, he's not. But if he felt like he gave her that impression, he apologized. Anyway, they get to talking. They talk a little bit about Cole and how they met through his photography because that was another one of his passions. See, the whole thing is, Jada's like, "Well, now that you're not a priest, what is that you wanna do?" Talk about helping people, but apparently the rec center, the place that they have, there's somebody else that's already doing a good job. So Jada's like, "All right, well, what else would you like to do?" And he talks about his photography days, and that's how he met. That's how he met Nicole. So they talk about that, and at this point, in the beginning, I think he said something about Nicole. Then he apologized, but she was like, "Listen, you gotta sit there and talk about this." Just to kind of make it not awkward. And even towards the end, Jada was like, all roads lead back to Nicole. Anyway, he talks about the photography thing, shows us some pictures and everything, and she has to work, and eventually Rafe has to work. So they get to work early. And the one thing I'm thinking is like, my goodness, what time do you people wake up in the morning? You had Jada was like, "Oh, I have some time," and Rafe had to get to work, but he's not there describing his whole dream. And I'm like, what? What time do you people wake up? I'm assuming that they wake up like early, like around 7:30, maybe even 6:30. That is so early. But anyway, they both get to work, and this is where Nicole's lie comes to bite her. So they get to talking, and at some point, because Nicole was sitting there telling Rafe, "Well, I never really got an answer from Eric, as far as if you want to take the job or not." So when they're talking about Eric and her relationship and how things are going, Rafe is like, "All right, so did Eric take the job?" That Nicole offered, and Jada's like, "What photography job?" He even when she went to go take a shower and they finished talking about like Eric and everything like that, he just had that look on his face of insecurity. Now you find out that she lied to you. So he is just like he's just looking insecure and worried. And you know what? I don't feel bad for him. That's the thing. That the whole time he was having that whole, when I found out he was having a dream, I was just like, hmm, you know what they say about karma, right, bro? I'm just saying. Just saying. Now he has this girl lied to him. He just has that look on his face, like that look of worry and concern. And it's like, hmm. You know who else felt like that? Just bring it back a couple of months. Oh, my good old girl Ava. When you were going behind her back, kissing Nicole, and this, that, and the third. But I guess somehow the audience is supposed to sit there and feel bad for you. Don't get me wrong, if you're a Rafe fan, if you feel bad for him, that's cool. I'm a petty person, so that's not gonna work for me. But if a lot of people are more mature than me, and I respect that. It's just not me. I think that's about it. Really do. I think her name is Likana. No, not Likana. I knew I was going to screw up her name. That's why I paused it, and I still screwed up her name. Lakia. No, Likian. Hold on, because I'm not going to sit there and look stupid throughout this stream. I mean, throughout this video. Lanikia. Oh my goodness. If you're watching this, or if you're a subscriber to her, I really do apologize. I'm really bad with names. But the reason why I actually brought her up is because this woman has more patience than I do. If you've been watching this channel for a while and you watch today's reviews and my GH reviews and GH reviews, I go hard. Okay, I don't have patience. I just do not have patience, and I give this woman so much credit because I know that in the comment section, people like. Here's the thing: if somebody makes a comment and I don't agree with it, I generally don't sit there and argue with people because that's what the comment section's for. If somebody sat there and listened to me talk for 14 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, then you have a right to sit there and sound off, and I'm going to sit there and read your comment. If I don't agree with it, I don't agree with it. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, and normally I don't even sound off in other people's comment section, especially if it's like other, commentaries and stuff like that. But this one woman, oh, bless her heart, bless this woman's heart, because she has more patience than I do. I just don't understand. I don't understand it. Here's the thing: Google is your friend. Okay, Google is your friend. So, just a little words of advice. that maybe you could sit there and pass on to a neighbor, a friend, specifically a friend, when it comes towards these soap operas. Tell them that Google is your friend. Say Google is your friend because if you took 5 minutes out of your time that you are just wants to voice you want to be all caught up in your feelings, you want to vent and everything like that, before you do that, take a second, especially when it comes towards why they're doing what they're doing. And granted, even though I went in this comment, I didn't go in as hard as would. I didn't go in as hard as I used to go. Okay, I just don't understand how if you are able to write an angry message or write a frustration message, but you can't sit there and Google it. You can't sit there and do your Googles for 5 minutes and realize that they didn't have a choice. Okay, it was either that or get canceled. Okay, it's just that simple. You're either going to move on to a platform that is going to continue to show for the fans, for the workers, for the actors, or you're just not going to do it at all. Okay, and this person was pretty much like something needs to be done, and hopefully it'll go back to regular network. That's like Snit is saying, you know what? I'm just going to drive backwards to work. Okay, I'm just going to drive backwards to work because this person doesn't understand why the change happened in the first place. I guess this person's under the assumption that they just decided that they want to just go there for, like it was a choice. And I get that some people just want to get caught up in their feelings, they want to vent, but I feel like when you start putting out that type of stuff and somebody else actually agree with her, that just causes a problem because it causes a level of misinformation. Okay, these people are assuming that the network is, the runners, the boss or whatever, the people that run the show, they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna sit there and move to a streaming service. There's more money in our pockets. No, we're doing this because we don't have a choice. And granted, somebody in the comment section tried to put a bit of common sense into it and did a nicer job than I did because I just said I had enough. I just don't understand the complaining like, this isn't a choice. And for anyone that's thinking, for anyone that has the delusional idea that they're going to be moving backwards, that, as this person said, that the ratings drop, that no one moves over to Peacock and they'll just go back to regular television, which is just the most backwards way of thinking I've seen in the comment section in a very long time when it comes to our soap operas. It actually set a standard. It's not going to happen. Okay, they're not moving backwards. They're not going to regular television. They're just not doing it. Money wise, it just would not work out, and that's the reason why they went there in the first place. And also, the ratings didn't really help, and there's just a lot of business sides. This wasn't a choice, though. Okay, if they did not do this, it would have been done. I really don't like Snitty talking about that part. And it's not somebody I don't like talking about that part. It's just it gets me riled up and it gets me annoyed. And I started off this review very, very positive, like I did yesterday. And well, we all know how that ended. But anyway, this was a great episode. This was a really good episode. These episodes are solid. I wish the other shows would follow suit as far as the pacing, at the very least. There really wasn't a lot of characters. That's for the best. I love GH. I really do. This is a show that I probably grew up watching. Okay? But they need to cut a lot of a lot of the cast members, they need to go. Okay? They need to go. They just need to go. Okay? I'm almost at this point where it's like, I don't care which one. I have my favorites, but you know what? I have my favorites. Everyone has their favorites. You know what? At this point, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They just need to sit there and condense the characters. This was great. It really focused on the characters, the small cast that they had, and it worked out great. And it didn't feel like people were just there for filler. Something that I just have a problem with in general with soap operas. When they start throwing in a bunch of characters. I think, like, when I do my notes, and I have to sit there and count how many people's there, it just gets to a point. I think it was like, well, I don't want to sit there and say it was 7, but it was a lot of people. There's a certain process the way I write my notes, but when I just kept seeing more people, I'm just like, I got to, and I see another person. By the time I got to the 7th row, I was like, Jesus Christ. But anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.